It's time to work on the double cardans, or the constant velocity joint as Buick calls it. This is the back half of the drive shaft. This is the slip yoke. The carrier bearing would be up here. So the manual has us starting here and going that way. So let's not waste any time. Let's dig in and get these U-joints pressed out. Or, yeah, U-joints, because we got 4 of them to do on this monster. And I tell you what, it's heavy. So here's the double cardan joint. Now we just got to get the spider, as it's called, from the factory out, which is not proving to be as easy as I would like. There we go. Rock it out. And then rock this guy out. Ta-da! Now we get to see, this is the ball side of what makes the double cardan joint. In here is a socket that the ball sits into, so that way everything rotates, along an axis, basically. That's an oversimplification, but you get the idea. So these guys are not available in reproduction status, so the best I can do is grease it up really well and put it back into place. With one side of the double cardan done, we're going to keep pressing and get the other U-joint out. After working entirely too hard, there's both sets of the U-joint caps pressed out. We're going to get the other spider, as it's called in the factory manual, and others I'm sure. We're going to get that guy out. We're going to take a look at the double cardan a little bit more closely. So all that's left to do is walk this guy out. 1. And make sure you keep things oriented halfway nicely, so that way you can put it back together easier. Yes, I did mark all of these before I took it apart, so I'm not going to get this out of phase. So there's another spider. Oh, let's look at that guy real quick. Not near as bad. There's some scoring and marks and stuff on the chrome here. The front one was so far the worst of them all. But let's take a look at this double cardan a little bit more closely. So I'm looking at the double cardan. Here's the chrome. You can see that there is some, wear marks on it, but I can rub my fingernail across it and it doesn't give me any signs of pitting or worn beyond belief. So we're going to clean it up. We're going to grease it back up and go from there. Now the socket side also is clean and clear. The seal does look okay. This just popped right out of the old socket and it's going to pop right back into it after some heavy grease action. So I think we're in good shape to reuse the double cardan. So I'm ready to get reassembling the first side, which is the more transmission side. The differential side we're not going to touch. We're going to do these one set at a time. I've got a stack of these Moog 234s, which is the same U-joint as the front yoke at the transmission yoke, and the same ones through the double cardans, which makes this really easy for parts. So I got a stack of these. Let's just start reassembling. Now, something I don't think I've shown effectively is you've got these little clips. You see that groove in there? That little clip is supposed to get pressed into that groove. Now, there's a little bit of juggling back and forth you got to do to get them all in there, but that's just part of the game. So with one of the double cardans complete, we're going to move on to the second one. This is the pinion side. It's going to be pretty much exactly the same as the other side. Push everything out, push everything back in, keeping track, making sure everything lines up. I think that was the worst U-joint removal I ever had. I actually had to turn the camera off because I couldn't figure out what the heck was going on. The cap cracked and became a mess. I had needles everywhere, pieces all over the place. Luckily, The bores are okay. Little tiny bit of a witness mark, but nothing major. We can just, a little bit of polish, knock the burr off, and it's good to go. I'm not going to lie. That was an ordeal. I'm tired. I had 2 of the caps crack. Not just 1, 2 went bad the same way. And I apologize I didn't get much of that on film because there was a lot of going back and forth between the press and the bench. So, I got away with some scarring on the bores, but I can correct that. I've corrected it, and the new U-joints are going to go in just fine. So, let's start the reassembly process. I almost forgot to show you the double cardan. The chrome ball is in good shape here on that yoke, and the bore, though much harder to see inside, is in good shape there too. So that's a plus. Both of the balls of the double cardans are in good shape. Let's start putting them back together. Remember, if you made marks, make sure you line everything back up. Tell you what, guys, doing the double cardans on this thing was a little bit of an ordeal. Was it the hardest thing in the world? No, it was not the hardest thing I've ever done. But they're done, and next time we'll get to the carrier bearing. Thanks for watching.